Salute, salute, peace and power, peace and power. I thank the universal truth and the absolute laws of nature for guiding me, protecting me, and giving me the strength to endure the imperfect. I shall attack with vigor, making progressive moves. A divine mind knows, a divine mind shows all things work in divine order. All things work in divine order. All things work in divine order. Peace and power. What's going on? What's good? I know it's been a minute. But we are here and we are live. We alive. Let's get this thing started because I ain't been here in a few days. Thanks for all the blessings. Thanks for all the well wishes, right? I'm about 89%. About 89%. Not 100% yet. I'll let y'all know when I'm 100%, but I'm about 89%. You know, voice is strong, right? Skin still a little something supple. You dig? Let's get right to it. Lizzo, as I'm sure most of you, right? Most of you who are home and surfing, right? You're on social media, you're watching, you're seeing what's going viral. You know, you're looking, you're intaking this information. Lizzo is going viral, right? And this time it's not for what she's usually going viral for. You know, wearing something and, you know, wearing something that many would critique or criticize, you know, for someone of her stature, someone of her size, you know. She's actually going viral for an interview she just did on CBS, where she invited them to her first home purchase. Right now, this purchase of a mansion, it has been listed. Well, she has told us that it's $15 million mansion. $15 million, right? Which for some may be a drop in the bucket. For others, it may seem to be an enormous amount. But again, like with everything, almost everything she does, people have mixed feelings. There's mixed emotions. There's mixed statements. You know, I've seen a lot of comments on several different platforms and sites, right? Speaking on this purchase. Now, me for one, I've always, since I seen her, not always, but since I saw her and she blew up, exploded, I've always been not a fan, but very appreciative of her music, her creativity, and her craft. For one, because I really appreciate anybody that takes time with their lyrics. And lyrically, within a song, her songs are magnificent. But I also have a personal type connection. Her primary choreographer happens to be one of my daughter's dance instructors and took care of my daughter when she was a little person, Miss Shirlene. So, you know, shout out to Miss Shirlene, who's been with Lizzo for the duration, you know, world tours, all that, you know. A lovely, lovely, lovely dance instructor. Oh, matter of fact, who also recently got engaged. So congratulations on your engagement, Miss Shirlene. You dig? But yeah, she took care of Isana, you know, for a couple of years in the dance school. Beautiful woman. So anytime Lizzo is on performing live, and I don't care where it was, anywhere on television, my daughter, Daddy, let's see if we're gonna see Miss Shirlene. Let's go and watch. So, far as live performances go, I've witnessed man, several dozen when it comes to her. So I know her lyrics, I know her catalog, and I watched her perform. So in that sense, you know, um, I'm not unfamiliar with other aspects that people critique her on, as far as the buffoonery, what some may call buffoonery, but again, she's an admitted nerd. So, other than critiquing her on the music, on the creativity, they choose to point out, her size, point out her clothes, point out some of the things that she said vocally. So, I'm the one, as I always teach all of y'all and educate y'all, to separate the person from the art form. Because we really, really, really don't know these people. We know the bio, we know how they present, we know the scripted interviews, but we don't know the people. So unless it's something that's matter of fact and there's a position that they stand on that we see, I always look, excuse me, to critique the craft and then leave it where it's at. But with this purchase of this home, there was a lot of not only dissent, but there was a lot of praise for it. And I always look and read and listen and hear what people are saying in the pros and in the cons. A lot of people, well, the majority of the people praised her. And then in the same breath, within the same statement, said, won't he do it? Won't he do it? And I hear that a lot, frequently. Won't he do it? So we're going on with not only this bill, but with several bills from here on, right, into the coming new year, this age of Aquarius. I'm always going to center on specific pieces that people just lean on, that people use as a default, right? And some of these things are success, worship, praise, and, rhetorical statements like, won't he do it? So now, not only is the purchase significant, but the interview and the setting is significant because she said this is her first Christmas in her own home. So there's a seasonal tone to it. They mentioned her Emmys and her Emmy speech, her Grammys, right? And again, it's not any more different than the usual interview, the usual fluff piece, right? And as somebody who has watched so many different fluff pieces over and over and over, you begin to pick certain things apart. And again, it's not anything ever personal, but it's the pen, it's the storyline, it's the narrative that gets created that we have to listen for. So in the course of that interview and her being very grateful, you understand, very, very, very excited and happy. Of course, they bring on the bio, and they want that bio, they want that storyline to remain intact when you see her. And this bio piece that they always put is that she was sleeping in a car 10 years ago. 10 years ago, she was sleeping in a car, which is a narrative that they use for a lot of entertainers, whether it be actors, whether it be directors, musicians. The key piece is that they were so destitute that they were sleeping in a vehicle, that they were homeless, right? And this is to create a tone of empathy for their struggle. So when you see what they claim to have achieved, the point of success is always one of monetary achievement, monetary gain. To say they went from poverty, right? From poverty to abundance. And from poverty to abundance based on not the industry and the institution, but because won't he do it? And it's only specific to us, right? Us. Specific to our folk. Won't he do it? Praise God, right? The higher power. Because of that, I was able to go from a car to a home with an excess of 15, or what is it, half a dozen, right? Christmas trees. Half a dozen, maybe 6 or 7 trees all over the space, right? So I don't know if the trees are actually altars to worship or praise something else, because we do know that this is a pagan holiday. That's another build. But let's just stick on other things that was said. And again, very negative comments that I was hearing, which some may say, these people are just haters. I read a few of them say, well, she didn't need to buy something that large. This is a bad time to invest in something that large. Maybe she could have got something smaller and then invested in other things, since she was so impoverished and understands that. A lot of things, a lot of pocket watching, which again, they always leave themselves open for that criticism because they mention the price. There's no need for that, because there can be an assumption, right, of what it's worth based on just the location, based on the walkthrough. You understand? So when you mention the price, there is an opening for criticism. But won't he do it? Oh yeah, won't he do it? You did? And in the interview, they went back to her Emmy speech where she said, all I ever wanted was to see someone black like me. I only wanted to see someone fat like me. And I didn't see that. Now that caught me. I'm like, hold up now. I know you're young, but you're not that young. And you're from Houston. You went to a musical school. So hold on a minute now. I got to see what's going on. Hold on. Because I know that if my daughter, who is not your age, not Lizzo's age at all, right? My daughter knows who Martha Wash is. Oh, most definitely. And Izora Armstead. She knows who they are. She knows who Vesta Williams is. And more recently, she knows who Jill Scott and Kelly Price is. So if my daughter knows, I know for a fact that this woman who knows how to read music, write music, play music, sing music, and has been in the industry for as long as she's been, come on, yo, whose father encouraged and dreamed of her doing it, had to show her an example of what she could be. You had to listen to these women. Come on. But again, fluff pieces are there for fluff. It is there to elicit, excuse me, right? Sympathy, empathy, to get people to buy into who you are. Absent of the craft, because soon the craft is going to wane and you will only have you to sell to the next generations that's coming through. So I was taken aback by that. And you know me, if I'm taken aback by something, I have to mention it. I'm going to mention it, because my tribe has to be educated in specific language and how it's drawn up. So that empathy piece that we so happen to have, right? That appreciation for that supposed success and elevation, we look at it from a different gaze. We look at it from a different perch. We look at it from a reality piece. You got to understand where I'm going with that, because there is no way in hell that anyone in this generation or previous ones are going to feel comfortable doing what they're doing in an industry, right, that has so many different, right, negative tones to women as such, if you don't have an example, if you didn't see an example. So that's, that again, not to, right, discredit who she is personally, but again, to check the errors, to make sure that we key in and focus in on, so we're not duped, right? As we've been duped in the past, right? We're not duped into, right, giving extra celebratory, right, spaces for these people to kind of divert our attention to what's really going on, but won't he do it? Because he did it for her. So now in this same Christmas space, in this praising, in this, right, as we said last week, in this, right, higher, right, place, this higher, right, belief in this higher power, I have a story, right? Not a story, but a news article coming out of California, right? And it's it's not directly tied, but when we get into the figurative piece of it and the language of it, I want us to really think about who we are and how we move and what is our purpose, right? So, Los Angeles, California, right? Trina Newman, 61, and definitely deepest condolences to her and her family, right? Definitely, because we know, and as you know in my work, this is a very difficult time for a lot of people. So when the language is being utilized and certain tones and music and vibrations is going, everybody's not going to be in a space where they are able to be balanced with it. So that piece, again, will come later on. So let me continue. Los Angeles, California, Trina Newman, 61, died on the spot after being struck by a vehicle at around 3:25 p.m. at 88th Street and South Broadway on Christmas Eve. According to Los Angeles Police Department, The driver fled the scene. Okay? Newman, a retired minister, mother, and grandmother who raised 6 foster children, was dropping off gifts at a community center, according to the Los Angeles Times. The collision occurred at 88th Street and South Broadway as Newman had stepped off the sidewalk and was getting into her car. All right? You understand? This is not, again, connected, but again, Lizzo's mansion is out there in LA, in Cali, right? And we said, won't he do it? That's what they said all in the comments. Here's a minister who, after years and years and years and years of work, charity work, foster children, stepped off into the street and was killed by a hit-and-run driver on Christmas Eve. Now, I ask you, is this also, won't he do it? Is this also, won't he do it? Because when we're dealing with this, let's really look at these 2 different women in different spaces in their life, right? One who's worked tirelessly as a minister. There's so much. There was so many different people who was sad and hurt and destroyed by this, yet worked tirelessly to give back, to raise other children who were not biologically hers, to raise a community. You understand what I'm saying? To raise community, to be involved, to be engaged, to consistently give back, who was not living in a mansion. And then we have another individual who, again, is saying, won't he do it? So which one is it? Where are we going at? Where are we going at? Because it is significant. It is significant. Minister Newman is going up completely under the radar. Completely under the radar. While we are looking and discussing and talking about a singer in a $15 million mansion. At what point do we look and deal with? Is it a higher power or is a lower power at play? Is the $15 million mansion a space of a higher power? Or is it a space because of the institution from which it comes from, a lower power? Let's be very mindful of where we place our attention, on what language we use, on what we deem success, on what we call as work, on what we know as giving back. Because again, without being purposeful, without having that intent, without being truthful, without knowing our path, there's a lot of confusion. There's a lot of distraction. And we will continuously run around in a circle. So again, what we ask, how do we speak? You understand? Won't he do it? We got to look at it. Look at it and see exactly what we are articulating. Who is successful? Where do we place our value. And how do we get there? How do we get there? Because in the very same segment, the very same interview piece that was going along and coasting and being real fluff, there was a point in which that she disrobed and showed the woman who was interviewing her, a Eurocentric woman, her elbow, and said, this right here, when you have this big old elbow, it means you can cook. It means you can cook. So in all of the success, all of the grandeur, all of the worshiping, you then reduce yourself again to a stereotypical black woman who is big, cooking in the kitchen and ready to disrobe in front of these institutions. So again, that's just something I wanted to throw out. My observation. I'm glad the tribe is here. I shall be back. I may be on a couple of times today since I'm on a roll. There's a lot that needs to be discussed. So I thank you. Again, hit that green screen. Very important. Very important. Hit that green screen, right? Share the video. Let the tribe know we back in effect. Let the tribe know. Yeah, no. Book your anger management sessions. All right? Your assessments, your consultations. You dig what I'm saying? Let them on now. We back up on. We back up and running. Hit the green screen. Let's do what we do. Let's do what we do. All right? Which is educate, elevate, right? And push each other to the next level. All right? Salute, salute. Peace and power. Don't believe in me. Believe in my belief in you.